Hi, this is Jessica Sace here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all my fashion books and also sewing books where I've collected over the past 2 years or so. So I'm just going to show you each and every one of them because there's quite a lot of them, just to show you what I have. Okay, so this one is that you've seen from one of my other videos. I recently bought this one because it's quite hard to find a men's fashion illustration book, and well, as you probably already know if you've seen the other video, it was like £20 and it was on sale for £3.99 but it came up as £1.99, so yeah, it shows you how to draw menswear. Secondly, there's this book, which is a DIY fashion book, and it just helps you to customise and personalise your clothing. On the back it has a quote that says, "Full of information and inspiring ideas for anyone with a creative spirit," and that was wrote by someone called Paul Smith. And inside it says it contains more than 40 projects, none of which that require prior skill or a sewing machine. These are clothes that anyone of any age can make. From customised hand-me-downs to elegant evening wear, it is packed with ideas that the reader can adapt to their own wardrobe, full of tips on where to find inspiration, and with a personal section of repairs. DIY fashion is a funky survival guide for the creative alternative fashionista. So that's that book. And this one here, I've actually had this for a couple of years, and it's not the kind of book that has pictures in, but it's called Freaky Fashions, and it's actually quite old because if I just open up and look inside, this book was printed in 1987, and it's got a lot of writing inside, but it's got some useful things in there, and it just shows you how to make different things. So if I just flip through the pages, so it's actually quite a good book by someone called Caroline Archer. Thirdly, this is a fashion designer's book, as you can see the designer's name, and it's also a colouring book. So there's some useful things in that book. Next I have this book, and it's the 20th century fashion book, and it's not just about one thing, it has a section on loads of different fashion designers. If you had this book and you were wondering if there's a certain person that you're looking for in here, then you just look through the back, see if their name's in there, and you can find it. But they've got some really good stuff in here. A lot of it's information, and there are some images on the pages as well, but it's quite a good book to look at. Next I have this book, and it's called Illustration Now, and it has that on there, and I really like the back of this book for some reason. It just looks really cool, especially the rabbit. And inside there's a lot of illustrations, and most of them are really graphic, so they're not like really like hand drawn, they're really like graphic drawings. So if I just show you the inside of this book, I have this book, and it's called Super Cute, and inside you can make these little teddy things, and it has like a little sewing kit inside as well, so it's got the bits and pieces that you need to make the things, and you can make stuff like this. If I show you the rest of the pages, like you can make a cloud, an owl, and there's other stuff in there that you can make as well. Next I have this book, and it's a vintage fashion source book. Inside you can find fashion decades ranging from the 1900s up till the 1980s. And inside, next I have this book, and this is the Country Living Needlework Collection book, and it says Sewing Classics at the bottom as well. So it just shows you how to do different sewing things. I kind of got addicted to buying sewing books and stuff at one point because I thought they'd be useful for me at some point, I haven't actually looked at every single book, but I've looked at most of them because I figured if I had them, then I would eventually need them at some point, so they might come in handy soon as they're my book. Next I have this book, and this is called So Stylish. I think I had this from a friend for Christmas. They have little projects inside as well, so you can make like pom-poms and things like that. So each book I have just shows you something different, and some of them have the same kind of things inside. And this book is a Mexican textiles book, and inside it's really cool and interesting. They've got all these different patterns and colours and prints, and if I just open it to this page, it shows you what kind of things that you can find inside this book. Next I have this book, and it's making stylish belts. As you can see, there's some images here. Instead of open it sideways, it's got like this bit here, so you open it from there. Next I have this book, and this is the Pattern Companion Sewing Book. And if I just flip through the pages, you can see some of the things that are inside this book. Next I have this book, and it is the Ultimate A to Z Companion to 1001 Needlecraft Terms. If you do have this book, or you don't have this book, if you want to know how to do different hand stitches, then I get this book, because each page just shows you how to do different hand sewing stitches, and not only does it do that, it actually shows other things as well. It tells you what each sewing term means. This book is 99 ways to cut, sew, tie and rock your scarf. So I'll just flip through some of the pages so you can see what's inside. It shows you how to make like tops and dresses from scarves by sewing two scarves together and that kind of thing. So this is part of the contents page, and it shows you can make. And this book is called Yeah, I Made It Myself. And this is a DIY fashion for the Not Very Domestic Goddess by someone called Ifine. It just shows you little things that you can make yourself, which would be good if you have this book and you want to do a DIY video. So that's the Yeah, I Made It Myself book, and it is quite a good one. This book is the Shoe Style Guide. This book is a Classic Rocks t-shirt book, and inside you can see these different logos and prints. This book is 100 Ways to Customize Your Clothes by Petra Boss. And I shall show you some of the pages. And this book is another fashion illustration book, and it just says drawing fashion on there. And this book is by someone called Hilary Lovell. When I'm thinking about fashion illustration and I want to learn how to do it, I get as many different types of fashion illustration books that I can, because each one is different, even though some of them are quite similar. I actually got this book from Hobbycraft, and it's really heavy because it's quite thick as well. Okay, so this book is the figure drawing book for fashion design, and there is so much in this book. It's one of the best ones that I think I've bought. So it shows you how to draw the body, the eyes, the face, all that kind of stuff. And at the back it actually shows you how to draw garments. And this book is called The Clothes Book by Charmaine Watkins. So it's got actual like patterns in here for clothes to make, which I think I got this book from a car boot sale. So, and this is quite like a young child's one, but because it's to do with fashion, I've got it, and I've actually had this for a couple of years as well. So this book is Funky Things to Draw, Costumes and Fashion. It's quite a thin book and there's not a lot in there, but it's still good if you're starting off. And on this book it just says sewing, and it says a beginner's step-by-step guide to stitching by hand and machine. And I actually got that on sale for $1.99. This book is a new fashion illustration book by Martin Dorber, and he's one of my favourite fashion illustrators. There's some really like mixed and interesting things to look at in this book. Well, I think so anyway. Some of them are very graphic, very detailed, some comic-like, but they're really cool. This one here I quite like because in this illustration the person's actually used material. This is the Reader's Digest Complete Guide to Sewing, and this book was actually printed in 1980, so it's quite old. My nan gave me this book, so I've had it for quite a long time because she gave it me a couple of years ago. This is another fashion illustration book and it's called Young Fashion Designers. In there, and it tells you about the different people and the way they design their clothes and stuff like that. This is another fashion illustration book and it says figures poses for fashion illustration, and at the very back of the book it has a disc that you can put into your computer or your Mac, and you can get the bodies on your computer screen from the disc, and if you wanted to you could upload them onto Photoshop and then create your own design from there or something like that, or you can print them out, photocopy, or do whatever you want. Like you could glue stuff on top of these. Thank you for watching part 1 of my video, and I shall see you in part 2. Bye!